Hi there, it's Tim with Far North Magic. Today, I want to take a quick look at the new secret layers that they came out with, and I guess make a joke about how all those Zuran orb speculators are going to be in shambles. How could Wizards do this to them? What is? How are they ever going to recover those Zuran orb speculators, man? How? So we got two new secret layers. They're coming out through the Chaos Vault. They didn't do a big promotion of telling people, "Oh, look, we got these secret layers are coming out in a week or 2 weeks or whatever." They kind of ambushed us with these, and they are also putting them out with selling the commander decks with them. So they're doing kind of like these are upgrade packages for the deck. So definitely a slightly different way of doing it, but like I saw some people complaining, like, "Oh no, the Wizards is selling the decks directly." I'm like, okay, but don't they just already sell them through Amazon directly for the most part? And then it was like the people, like I saw some people complaining, like Wizards is undercutting the market. I'm like, okay, but they're selling them for the $45 still. That's MSRP. And then, like, I also saw some people say, like, that $45 was too much. And I feel that these two decks were, like, pretty solid value. They had some pretty decent reprints, some interesting new cards. And, like, especially the counterintelligence deck had better reprints than I was expecting them to put in a commander deck. Um, so I guess we'll just take a quick look at these and go from there. So we got two secret layers, as I say. They have two variants. So you have non foil and galaxy foil. And I probably won't be buying either of these just because, with being in Canada, it ends up being you kind of have to be intentional, like super intentional. And I was an idiot and bought a few things too many, so I just don't want to buy these because I don't need the Crucible right now, which is your main reason for buying them. And then for the Alien Auroras, and just because with all the um, exchange rate taxes, do import tariffs and junk, it ends up being basically at least double the price a lot of the time. So for the landfall themed helper layer, you have reprocess, aggressive mining, Sylvan Safekeeper, Crucible World, and Zern Orb. So definitely five cards that can help that deck. And again, as I say, Crucible Worlds is the main value card. The other, I guess, Sylvan Safekeeper would be three, four, $5 maybe. Aggressive mining, I don't remember it being worth a whole lot, but reprocess has a pretty expensive foil, if I remember correctly, because it's only like two scarce plays. And certain orb, all those certain orb speculators, they're cooked. They how could Wizards do this to them? Reprinting a new one. But your Crucible is like $25, $30 US. It's like $45, $50 Canadian, probably. So definitely at least playable cards. Also, like that's the thing. Like a lot of the time, it ends up being like, are these cards able to slot in places? And is the art cool? So Definitely, if I was looking to buy a secret lair, this would be the lair that I'd buy. Galaxy foil is kind of questionable, just because it's double the price. It's $60, but definitely seems like uh, treatment that people like. And if they didn't print too many of them, it's probably gonna hold up pretty well. Uh, the other secret lair is a secret lair featuring Death Burger. I don't know if that is an artist. I guess that's the artist. Themed lair type thing. So we got Aethersworn Canonist, Goblin Engineer, Dance of the Manse, Earthbound Ravager, and Foundry Inspector. A lot of the time, the artist lairs don't have the best value, and this is the same. It's got some useful cards at least, but a lot of these cards have seen kind of better days. Like the Canonist and Ravager have held value in the past, but now are just reprinted too many times, and also kind of just been power crept down a bit. Foundry Inspector and Dance of the Mans are pretty close to bulk cards, but still usable cards at least. And the Engineer is, I think, only like a $5-10 card, if I remember correctly. But definitely interesting. Um, Again, value wise, you're not going to hit your value on that layer. So it is more if you like the art and if you're going to use the cards. And for me, I don't use any of those cards, so I'm going to stay away from them. The interesting thing is they are selling the decks at MSRP with them, which is at one point the decks seem to be run up pretty high. Like in Canada, the decks are out of control. Um, a lot of stores are uh, a lot higher. Well, I guess not much higher than MSRP once you factor in all the exchange taxes and everything else. A couple of stores are way out of control on them, but it is definitely, at least in Canada, it seems like you have to just buy the decks way early and hope that, and usually it works out. But sometimes you get Aether drifted, and then like the decks aren't worth anything, and you're like, wow, this is not great. Moving on to the Secret Lair website. So there doesn't seem to be an out of stock or anything yet. I don't think just from the way it seems, I don't think people are gonna. I don't think this is gonna sell out that fast. And I think the Chaos Vault stuff is kind of just, at least from my impression, kind of a. They're not sure, absolutely sure of it that they would want to put as big a marketing push. I don't know. I really would think that these like Chaos Vault ones, that they'd be pretty low print. But I guess that we'll have to just see in the end. Uh, Once they give the low supply and then sold out, what happens to them? I think the Alien Auroras is probably the pick if you're looking for value wise. Although as I've said, although as I say, like Crucible Worlds is very solid value, but a lot of the versions of it kind of coalesce around the same price. Like they don't have generally a big premium. It's just a very high floor. But I guess my question is do you plan to buy any of these lairs? Are you mad that they're trying to sell the decks with an upgrade package right away? I'm actually surprised I haven't done this earlier. Um, but I'm also not surprised that if they do this going forward, like just because that way they can capture more deck sales without paying Amazon or whatever percentage they've given them, and they'd be still capturing more money than selling it through distribution and everything. So I'm actually surprised that they didn't start doing this earlier, but I guess we'll just have to see how bad it goes going forward. It doesn't seem like there's commander decks going forward, so are they putting like some Spider-Man decks or Avatar decks or something through Secret Lair going forward? It'd be kind of interesting to see, but also scary because generally they juice the price up on unique decks to like, I think the last one was $200 and it hasn't sold out yet. Everyone's invited. Generally, those decks have held, like the cute to brute and heads I win, tails I lose. Like those decks have held some value. Even the 20 ways to win has some valuable cards in it, but it's very hard to tell in the end because like it's a bit of a painstaking process because like stuff's tagged as like list, like the mystery booster cards / list section, and sometimes those cards have value and sometimes they have no value even if it's a card that's traditionally has value. So I guess we'll just have to see how it goes from here. I don't plan to buy any of these because, again, as I say, I don't need a Crucible Worlds. If I did, I would definitely buy the Eleonoras, but I guess let me know in the comments. Do you plan to buy any of these? Are you mad at Wizards because they're selling the decks with them? I've seen some people say that they should just have the Crucible and everything in the deck already. Like, what's it matter? I'm like, well, you're just going to be crushing everything down to dirt. But I guess, like, for Game Piece Army people, they would be happy for that. But I wouldn't think that Wizards would put a Crucible level reprint in right away. But at least a non-premium deck. At least if they put in I don't know, a $200 deck or something, I wouldn't be surprised. But this is what it is, and we'll go from there. We'll be taking a look at some other stuff going forward, I guess. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care. I hope to see you next time. Take it. Have a good one, and bye.